You hear that?
Yes, sir. Got it.
Recording in progress. All right. So here we go. This is going to be the real start. Here we go. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Doing Things podcast. I'm your host, Paul DiMaggio, owner of the best IT support company in the Philadelphia area, Tech Targets.
The
My guest
best.
today, it is the best. It is, my guest today is Jeremy Brodovsky from Practical Coaching Solutions. You can find information about his business at practicalcoachingsolutions.com on Facebook and on Instagram. Jeremy spent years coaching people, not just through workouts, but through the psychology of discipline and accountability. In the real world, when motivation drops and life gets messy, Jeremy's got your back. We're going to talk a little bit about Jeremy's background and his unique circumstances, what personal training actually is, what the industry gets wrong, where technology genuinely helps, and the best way to make progress. So, Jeremy, welcome to the show. How you doing?
Well, glad to be here.
Glad to have
Happy to
you,
be
man.
here.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We've
Looking
known each
forward to it.
other for a while now, right? It's been what,
Five or
2019, I think,
six, 5 or 6 years now. Yeah, for sure.
like right before COVID, and then we had to get through COVID, and then like
Yep.
lots of other stuff happened.
COVID was a game changer, without a doubt.
Yeah. Oh, I know for my business, it spiked my business like crazy. Like, did that happen for you as well, or
Well, just the opposite. Uh,
really?
when COVID hit, we went from training, 30, 40, 50 sessions a week to zero.
Okay.
And then we all just thought we were going to be on a nice little 2-week vacation or something.
Yeah.
But obviously that didn't happen. So then we slowly started our way back in June of that year, I would say. And then it just, slowly built its way up. But I think that the big thing was what you mentioned is kind of the technology piece of it and how that impacted the personal training space.
Yeah. So everybody was kind of forced to figure out virtual, basically, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Got you.
So
All right. Well, before we go down that rabbit hole or
yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
why don't you tell me just a little bit about yourself and like how you got started as like a personal trainer in the first place?
So there's a couple of different trainers that I found. One is like somebody who goes to school for like kinesiology or something like that, and is definitely interested. I took the second route, which is started in a different field entirely. Got tired of corporate America and realized, you know what, I can actually make money wearing sneakers and shorts and a t-shirt to work every day. So
Yeah.
I transitioned over about 15, 16 years ago from being a project manager person to
Six
a
Sigma.
trainer.
Did you do like Six Sigma and all that
Yeah,
stuff?
I didn't. Unfortunately, I didn't have to do that, but yeah, I'm more higher level. I wasn't
Okay.
as far in the weeds as that goes. I didn't have
Oh,
to
I'm
go that
sorry.
far.
I'm sorry. You're higher,
Yeah,
bigger deal. Okay. Well, I
no.
mean, yeah, I think a lot of people have that sentiment, like going from corporate America to like, what's the saying? It's like I'd rather work 80 hours a week for myself than 40 hours a week for somebody else, kind of thing, right?
Yeah, it was just I just could not take sitting in a cubicle day after day. It was just mind numbing and not good. So anyway, I started to transition over into academia, higher education, and I had been coaching for a long time. And when I started my coaching career as a soccer coach back in the 80s when I was still in school, and our college soccer team or some of the women at the college were like, we don't have a women's soccer team, and I decided to form a women's soccer team. And they asked me if I'd be their coach. And I'm like a senior in college, no idea what I was doing, but that was my introduction to starting coaching. And I continue to coach in
Interesting.
soccer and to do things like that.
To this day, yeah, you're
Yeah.
still
So
doing.
my goal it was I wanted to be like a college full-time college coach, and I was coaching in college for 10 years, and it was just a brutal schedule with not a lot of money to be made.
Mm.
So I kind of pivoted and went into the personal training space and kept the soccer stuff as well too. So now, 15 years later, I do training, in-person training at AFC in Bala Cynwyd, if I can give them a shameless plug.
Sure, yeah.
And I do stuff on my own, and I also coach soccer as well as I run a soccer league in southeastern Pennsylvania. So
Okay, that's
I have a
nothing.
bunch of part-time jobs.
Yeah.
I don't have a full-time job, but it adds
Well,
up to a lot.
yeah, it occupies all your time. I'm sure you're working more than most of us at this point, right? I mean, honestly, running a soccer league is in and of itself like a really complicated thing.
Yeah, and that's been yeah. So it's a combination of those things that I'm doing on the daily basis. So
Got you.
yeah, so that's kind of my background. I mean, my educational background was I had a bachelor's degree in chemistry and math, and then I
Wow.
went and got my master's in athletic administration. So
Okay, great.
yeah.
So let me get the timeline straight. So you were coaching college, but then like when did you actually make the shift to like personal trainer like for real?
That was in 2015.
2015? Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Yep.
then how'd you get started? Like, did you have like a couple of people that were like, hey, like I really like your approach to things in general. Can you like be a personal trainer? Or did you just kind of like start hunting for your first clients? Like how'd that go? Like,
So the way it works when you're in person at a gym
hmm,
is it's like any business, like any sales business, you have to build relationships with people. So, you have to be there and present, and you're just constantly shaking hands, introducing yourself, talking to people about what they're trying to work on,
was
giving
this
them,
AFC back then
yeah,
as
this was
well?
at
Okay,
AFC, yeah.
gotcha.
So that's where I started. I started just all my time working at AFC. Not doing
And
anything on my own really.
did they promote you as a personal trainer, or did you like were you like a gym rat just there all the time and people were like approaching you like, hey,
No,
you know what you're doing?
they hired me as a trainer back
Okay,
in 2014, 2015, 2015.
gotcha.
So then, just as far as acquiring clients there, it was just a matter of just spending time, meeting people. And then when we typically had like a new member, like if Paul DiMaggio signed up to be a AFC member, you'd get 2 free training sessions with a trainer.
Gotcha.
So I was one of those people that, okay, Paul, you and I are paired up, and then if it works out, then you would become a client,
Okay.
in that fashion. Yeah. That
And so
that and like I said, just introducing yourself to people, helping them out, talking to them, learning what they're trying to do, what they want to do, and how you can help or add value to their workouts.
gotcha. And when you were first getting started, was it like was the kind of feed from AFC like more than enough to keep you occupied, or did you
Oh
start?
no, no, it's
Okay.
something that all trainers at I think all gyms across the country, just in the United States, it's like you start small and you have to build your book of clients.
Gotcha.
The club feeds you some, but it's really a question of, you kind of eat what you kill.
Because yeah, well, like
So
what I'm getting at is like right before we started here, I looked at your
yeah.
social media and you're doing the personal trainer thing of like you like flexing, muscles and all the awesome pictures of you and stuff. So I was just wondering if you like started that whole process like way back then, or was there a point in
No,
time where
no,
you're
that started
okay,
I think that's more post-COVID because
okay,
when before pre again, so that's why it's a big major like dividing line because pre-COVID it's like everything came in person, right? I met
mm,
everybody, all my clients in person first at the gym. And now post-COVID in the post-COVID world where there's a lot of online stuff, there's a lot more promotion, advertising, marketing done in the online space.
okay,
So it's like you're looking at somebody's social media profile and you're like, oh, is that somebody that I want to work
gotcha,
with, right?
right. And if you look
Whereas
good, then
typically,
yeah,
yeah, it does. It's like you're not gonna hire a fat trainer, I hate to say, but it just doesn't jive, right?
it doesn't translate. Yeah,
Yeah, so you have to take care of yourself. But yeah, it's like, I mean, previously, most of my new clients, and currently, most of my new clients come from word of mouth. So it's
gotcha.
like somebody that has worked with me already refers them to a friend, family member, coworker, whatever. Say, oh, you need to work with this guy. So yeah,
All right, cool. So yeah,
and
let's
yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
No, that's all. That's it. That's all I
Yeah,
got.
yeah, no. So I just wanted to take a step back real quick and kind of like look at your career at a macro level. So we know, I mean, I'm aware of a couple big milestones, right? Obviously, there was that as far as milestones or big events in your career, right?
Yeah.
Number one is the
Yeah.
transition with COVID, but number two, you had heart surgery. I was just wondering, like, before we get into those two things, was there anything prior to those two events, like from 2015 to like to the COVID era? Was there any like big milestones you hit or something like
Well,
memorable
the
that
big so
happened?
the big milestone for me was at the gym at AFC where I work. I was basically the number 3 trainer at the gym, right?
Okay.
Which means there were, in terms of how many sessions and stuff and how much revenue you're generating for the company. I looked at what the number 1 and number 2 guys were doing, and I'm like,
Mm,
I don't want to do that because they were basically working from like 7 o'clock in the morning till 5 o'clock in the evening and
huh.
then Saturdays as well for half a day. And I'm just like, I got other interests,
Yeah, there's
which was the
life.
soccer side of things. So I'm just
Okay.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't want that schedule. So I'm like, yeah. So I was like, yeah, I'll be happy to be at number 3.
Yeah,
So
well
that was a big
still
milestone for me.
it seems like it definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Which then again, like I said, that went to 0 once COVID hit. So
Yeah. Well, of course that'll happen definitely. So,
yeah.
well, so Do you want to go a little bit more in depth into how you kind of made that transition to virtual during COVID? Like, how did
Yeah,
that?
so during COVID, again, if we all re recollect back to the beginning of it, we just thought we are going to have a little 2 week vacation, and everybody was
Mhm.
like, okay, this will be we'll be back at it in 2 weeks, so not to worry. Obviously, that didn't kind of work out that way.
Yeah.
So, for lack of a better term, like we as trainers were just like, all right, well, me personally, like I'm like, what am I going to do? Like I mean,
Mm.
fortunately, it was in the spring, like May timeframe. So it was like it was nice to be outside. So I was just like started working out and film video and stuff, and I
Okay.
started doing basically virtual classes online. Through I was doing it through Facebook. So it's like, all
Okay.
right, we're being live on Facebook, and I think whoever wants to come, you can come.
Right.
And I didn't charge anybody anything, right? I
Sure.
just said, this is free for everybody. And if you want to make a financial contribution, I'd appreciate it.
Of course. Yeah.
So that's what I did. So I had basically 5 days a week, six sessions a week online. I was doing. I was
That's
in
a
the best
lot.
shape. I was in the best shape of my life because that was all
Ironic,
that
right?
was going on, right?
Yeah.
And I was getting a whole bunch of people. I was getting 10, 20, 30 people come to classes because it's just like, again, nobody had anything else to do.
Well, not just
Uh,
that. It's like I remember we were like starving for like human contact at that point, right? It's
right,
like you
right,
just
right.
we need something. So yeah, definitely.
Right, right. I mean, the worst thing at that point was just, yeah, it's just like you just kind of stuck in the house. Anyway, but
Mhm.
that started to over the months and months and months that things started to open back up. And as we got a little bit more aware of what the disease was, we started to go back to AFC. Now, the advantage for AFC is that it's huge space. It's a hundred
Yeah.
thousand square foot building. So we could properly social distance and train people in person at the club.
Nice.
So we got back to doing that. However, a lot of people didn't want to do that. So, you
Still
know,
a little too
the,
squeamish
the
about it. Yeah.
right, the birth of the online movement.
Okay.
So I continued to do stuff online and in person, and eventually it came to the point where I was just like, this is the online stuff is this is kind of great for me because I can be in my living room, in my office, I can be down the shore, I can be
Yeah.
anywhere, and
Well,
I
I
can work.
I wanted to ask you a little bit more about that, right? So, I mean, were most of your virtual sessions just like one on one, or did you have like because you mentioned a class, like
Yeah.
were a lot of them like classes, or like how did that work? Was it a bunch of
Yeah,
people
so it
all at
started as
once?
just classes. Like, okay, here I
Okay.
am. I'm working out with my clients, and they're working out with me. And whatever equipment they had at home or didn't have, that was, we made it work.
Okay.
And then again, as the things started to open back up, that those numbers kind of dwindled down,
Right.
and it went from 6 sessions a week down to five, down to three. Eventually, where I am today, where I still have people from 2020 who
Mhm.
won't let me quit doing classes. So I still do a class like twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Okay.
Oh, and so they've been with me for since the beginning, since for 6 years now online.
Yeah.
So
Those
yeah, so
are
just slowly went back to more in person, less online because that's kind of, we needed to pay the bills at the time.
sure.
And then, I just kind of realized that, this space it's here to stay.
Hmm.
And it can be a much more beneficial methodology for me to work in as opposed to just doing, you get paid for one session, one at a time. Whereas it's like you can kind of do one to many with the virtual piece.
Yeah.
Now,
And I got
again, the
yeah.
quality, I'll admit it, the quality is not the same, right? There's nothing better
Of
than
course.
doing one-on-one. But again, from individual, what a lot of people have learned is that what and this is what a lot of my clients felt is they started to they went through the Peloton phase, they went through the mirror
Oh
phase,
yeah.
all the stuff that they could do at home. And a lot of people said, this is great. I don't need to go to the gym. I can save myself money on a gym membership, and I can save myself, more importantly, I can save myself time.
Right.
So it's not like I have to drive to the gym, go to the gym, work out with a trainer, take a shower, get ready, go to work.
Everyone loves that efficiency, right? So yeah.
Yeah. So that was a big again, mind shift for a lot of people as well too. And then the other piece too was just in general, like I'll give you an example. My wife, she used to work, I'm not going to mention the company that she worked for, but they were just nobody works remotely. Nobody works remotely.
Right.
COVID hit, everybody now works remotely. So they
Uh
did a
huh.
complete 180-degree turn on that. And then once things started to open up, it was like, yeah, a lot of people enjoyed working from home and they were just as efficient. So they have that opportunity to 3 days a week work from home, two in the office, that sort of thing.
Sure.
So again, it's just people's time and availability changed.
Mhm.
So it's like now it's like, okay, I can schedule a 9 o'clock in the morning personal training session with somebody online who's working,
Yeah.
They might just start their day at 7, a little early, take a break, go out, work out, then go back to work. And they can have that convenience. Again, you couldn't do that with when you're going to the office every day and you had to come to the gym
Yeah, so
because you
yeah,
couldn't.
that makes sense. So the remote availability on both sides of the equation, on the trainer side
Right.
and the client side, definitely helps, facilitate that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, I'm curious a little bit about what you said as far as like the quality suffers a little bit as far as the virtual. Like, can you go a little bit more into detail about that? Like,
Yeah.
what
Yeah,
about
sure.
being in person makes it better exactly? Because
So so in
I want to know for myself. Because like, you know,
right.
you may know I might be looking for a personal trainer of some sort.
I've
So
heard,
I
I've
was just
heard, I've
gonna, yeah.
heard.
So
So in person, it's I want to say it's a 360-degree view, right? Like I can see my clients from the front, the back, the sides, so I can see exactly what they're doing. And if I need to put my hands on them to say, look, you need to pull your shoulders back, you need to lift your chest up, I can demonstrate that better, or I can adjust their bodies better by actually physically putting hands on them, right?
yeah, now I'm self conscious about my posture all of a sudden. All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
Um,
Sorry.
Now online, it's two-dimensional, right? I can
Okay.
see you're kind of like up, down, up, side to side, front to back. I can't see three-dimensionally, and I can't obviously touch a person to help
Mhm.
adjust them. So that aspect of it is just it's just the quality suffers a little bit. And again, it suffers for those that don't have great body awareness, right? Like a lot of
Okay.
people, it's like I can say, okay, Paul, you need to lift your chest up, shoulders back, and you'll do it properly.
Yeah.
So it depends upon the individual and
As
what their self-awareness is. So
Yeah, I mean, as somebody that's kind of naturally very clumsy, I'm pretty sure my awareness is not great. I used to be an athlete back in the day, but it was rowing, and it was the kind of thing where it's like I know one particular motion
right, right.
incredibly well. Like I am so good at that one particular motion, but then anything else, they had us do triathlons sometimes, and it was just like don't even get me started. It didn't work
Yeah.
out. But
I used to
yeah.
train this guy he was basically a professional track athlete in Europe for running for like Nike or something. And we trained occasionally. It's just more for fun than anything else.
Hmm.
And he was a sprinter. So he could go
Okay.
straight ahead really well. As soon as I had him do anything laterally, he was completely confused.
That's crazy how your particular muscles can develop like
Yeah,
specifically.
yeah, for
I
sure.
remember back in the day, because I would be rowing on like the starboard side of the boat. My right lat was like
Right,
insanely huge. My left
right.
lat was like not so much. It was just kind of crazy.
That's
But
the
yeah, so
principle of specificity right there.
yeah, right, right. And then people look at you like something off about your
Are you
back. I
okay?
don't know what it is, but no, but so okay, so if remember correctly, then well, let me ask you this. I think 2022 was when you got heart surgery. Is that correct, or
That
am
is
I off?
correct. Yep.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about like the lead up to that? Like if you're comfortable talking about that, like at all, like were you feeling like different, weird? Like how'd that go?
No, it's a I want to say it's a cautionary tale.
Okay.
So I was just at my regular checkup. I go with my doctor, who's a great doctor. Unfortunately, he's retiring this year or retired last 2025.
Is your cardiologist?
No, he's just a general
Oh,
practitioner guy.
okay,
So
gotcha.
yeah. So if you don't go to your doctor every year, I recommend that you go to your doctor every year.
Okay.
So just getting a checkup, and he was listening to my heart. And he's like, I don't really like the sound of what I'm hearing. I'm hearing something I don't like the sound of. I'm like, all right. So he sent me to a cardiologist. Cardiologist ran a whole bunch of tests, the EKG, stress test, MRI, you name it, the whole shooting match.
Sure.
And this was during COVID, so it was a lot more difficult to get things done. Anyway, so came to the point where they said I had a valve issue and it needed to be surgically repaired. Now, me being having the scientific skeptic background, I said, all right, well, what happens if we don't do the surgery? They said,
Yeah.
well, your heart's not working properly. You'll probably have a heart attack that will kill you. It's like, all
Oof.
right, so I guess we'll do the surgery.
Easy decision. Yeah.
Right. So now in terms of symptoms, they said, do you have any symptoms? And I was like, not that I know of, because I was working out, I was running, I was playing soccer, I was doing hit workouts, I was doing plyometric stuff. I thought I was fine.
Sure.
And they said, well, do you get out of breath when you work out? It's like, well, yeah, usually like if I start off, I kind of lose my breath quickly, but then after a mile or two of jogging, running 3 miles, 4 miles, I'm fine.
Hmm.
Okay, that's a symptom.
Interesting.
The other one that really got me was they said, so if you lay down in bed and you lay on your left side, so your left shoulder, left side is down towards the mattress,
Yep.
is that uncomfortable? I was like, yeah, actually, that's really uncomfortable. It feels just, it doesn't feel, it just feels super uncomfortable. And they're like, that's a symptom.
Mm,
I was like, really? And I had no idea. So I had no idea that I had symptoms, even though I was presenting symptoms, because I just wasn't aware what those symptoms were.
sure.
So
And
again, make
they,
sure you go to the doctor.
yeah, yeah, they seemed like subtle enough where it was like they could be explained away by other stuff.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I always say is like a lot of trainers have that trainer mindset where it's like if you don't feel right, it's because we're not working hard enough, we're not eating properly, we're not getting enough sleep. Like that's our
Mm,
always the go-to default, which again, in most cases that's okay, but in certain cases it's like, no, you really need to get checked out because
right.
it's a greater problem and it's not
Sure.
actually, and again, the cardiologist, I said, well, is there something I could have done to prevent this? Like, no, it's just, it's just a manufacturing defect.
One of those. Yeah.
You got a bad valve. It just happens. So,
Gotcha.
so anyway, so then I had the surgery in 2020, June 2nd, 2022. And
Did
then I
things
started,
kind of like escalate quickly? Did you like get in there like quick for surgery, or like, or did they let you like?
so fairly quickly. I mean, again,
Okay.
considering it was during COVID, so I was diagnosed. Well, my primary doctor I saw in December of 2021, and then the cardiologist I saw through January, February of 2022, and then April they made the decision for the surgery, and then I
Gotcha.
had it in June. So I mean, fairly
Okay, they
quickly.
moved pretty
Yeah.
fast. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it wasn't like an emergency kind of surgery that they felt needed to be done right away. So it was, it was a
Yeah.
gradual process. So
My father had heart trouble as well, so I'm very sensitive to that whole world and stuff. He had AFib, and it was like, yeah, it was just a thing he lived with for like over 15 years, kind of thing. But
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I'm very sensitive
Yeah,
to
and
all
I mean,
that.
I told my kids, I said, look, hey, here's the situation. Like, you guys need to make sure that you keep an eye on yourselves because, like, my dad had some like similar kind of issues. His didn't take place until when he was older.
Right.
So I said to them, I was like, look, you just keep an eye on it. It's not to
Yeah, of
worry
course.
about because you might be fine, but just keep an eye on it because
Yeah,
you don't want a bigger. One of the things that I always emphasize is you don't want a small problem to become a bigger problem. It's always
yeah,
easier to handle a smaller problem than a bigger problem. So.
yeah. Don't ignore things until they get bigger. So
Right,
what
exactly.
what did recovery look? Walk me through that. Like how did that
So
look?
there's like three stages. Well, there's four stages, I would say, of recovery. So the first one is just like immediately after surgery, right? It's like you're not they don't want you to really do much of anything for a while. They said you can get up and walk around, which I did. And I had my surgery at Lankenau Hospital, so I highly recommend that. They're
Good
fantastic.
hospital. Yeah,
Yeah, for heart, like they're leaders in heart surgery. They pioneered a lot of things that are cutting edge and super. Like I had minimally invasive surgery.
yep.
So there's basically like two different kinds of surgery. One is minimally invasive, where they make a small incision, maybe 3 or 4 inches, as opposed to the open heart surgery where they do the no,
Sternum.
sternectomy. Yeah. So
Yeah,
they basically like cut you open like a Thanksgiving turkey,
gotcha.
split
Yeah,
you open and do your surgery that way. The
yeah.
recovery from that's a lot more difficult because you have a lot
I can
greater.
can imagine. Yeah,
Yeah. So anyway, so the first phase is just being in the hospital, and then I was there for maybe 5 days or so. It wasn't very long. And then you go home and you're basically like limited to just walking around. That's about it.
sure.
Then after about 6 or 8 weeks, you go to the second phase, which is cardiac rehab. So again, at Bryn or at Lankenau, they had a cardiac rehab, which I was doing 3 days a week for about 45 minutes to an hour. And at that point, I kind of started back at work a little bit too. Like I
Okay,
couldn't lift anything heavy, but I could still kind of move around a bit. So I started
sure.
seeing clients as well.
That's good. Okay.
And then yeah, so I was doing cardiac rehab 3 days a week. Now again, that's the portion that is widely has a wide variation because depending on the person that's coming in, you'll get through rehab more quickly than others. So I mean, I was sitting next to a lot of people that were like 70, 75, 80 years old, which who were not in good shape, and it was just, much
Yeah,
more difficult for them.
I would expect like since you were going into it in good shape, you would be able to recover a bit faster.
Right. They told me, they said, look, you should be done in like 4 weeks max. You
Nice.
want to make sure you don't you don't push too hard. You want to because again, like you have to remember that your heart is a muscle, it's cardiac muscle. So you need to retrain that slowly. You don't want to stress it or strain it. So, like if you stress or strain your bicep or your calf or something, okay, you pulled your calf. all right, you're going to walk around on it, limp around on it a little bit, ice it, stretch it, roll it out, whatever. You can't do that with your heart.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
So they
Can't
want
really
you to
function if your heart's
ease your
freaking out. Yeah.
right. So they want you to
Yeah.
ease your way back in. So the second phase is that cardiac rehab phase.
Yeah.
Then once you get done that, they basically say, okay, you're done. You're free to go. You can do whatever you want on your own. And that's the
Right.
third phase. So now that for a lot of people is a difficult, I think, phase because it's like in
Yeah.
cardiac rehab, you're monitored constantly. You have a heart rate, you're wearing a heart rate monitor while you're exercising and working out. So they know exactly what's going on with your heart. So there's nothing to be apprehensive about
Right.
necessarily
You
because
have a guide there, you know exactly the numbers and readings and stuff. Yeah.
exactly. So and plus you're in the hospital itself. So if anything happens, you're in the right place.
Yeah.
Now, when you get released to the wild again, right,
Okay.
as it were, then that's where it becomes a little bit more scary. It's like, okay, well, what can I, like they'd say you can do whatever you want, but you can't really
Okay.
because again, if you were a gym goer like me and like a lot of other people that have had surgery, you have to learn how to push yourself and how to not push yourself, and you have to listen to. It's extremely important to listen to what your body's telling you.
Yeah. Okay.
And that takes a little while because again, it's just like you want to push and do more because you want to get back to what you're doing, but at the same time you can't. So
Yeah, so I kind of want to like zoom in on this concept
yeah.
like real quick because it's something that annoys the crap out of me. From like I have like lower back issues and stuff like that, and
Uh-huh.
the general guidance I get from my doctors is like don't work out too hard, and I need that to translate into real signals that I can perceive, right? Because I imagine same situation for recovering from heart surgery. It's like, okay, what does that mean exactly? Don't work out too hard. What are the signals? How do I know when to stop? How do I know when I should push myself because I need to get in shape? Like what? Like and I don't know if the signals are like I'm sure the signals are different between like heart surgery and like lower back stuff, but
Right.
I feel like there should be some sort of like overarching like guidance on this whole concept somehow. Does that make sense? I don't know. Like, how do you
Yeah,
know
I mean,
what's too hard? Yeah.
there's two things I'll say to that. So first, the medical community training, because I've known a lot of doctors for better or worse, some
Well,
in good
okay.
situations other than that. Anyway, they're trained to cure disease.
Okay.
They're not trained on preventative health care and wellness necessarily.
Mm.
So that's the general mindset. So they're always treating symptoms or issues.
Yeah, and they fix the
So
symptoms and they're like, all right, you're good, bye. And it's like, wait, what? Huh?
right.
Like,
If you've ever gone to rehab,
yeah,
like if you ever gone to rehab, like, okay, you need to rehab your right shoulder. Well, they'll work on your right shoulder, and then your right shoulder will be like you were saying before, with your right lat is big and your left lat is not, because it's
right.
so yeah. But no, I had a similar situation. So before I had the surgery, and I met with the surgeon in April. I remember this distinctly. And he was kind of great surgeon, good manner, but he was a little 70-year-old guy who's kind of fat, looked like anyway.
Okay.
So I said, so what I asked him, I said, what do I need to do before surgery? He's like, well, you need to take it easy. And I'm like looking at him and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, take it easy for me means instead of doing like a 5 or 6 mile run, I'll just do a nice 2 mile run. Or
Right.
instead of playing like 90 minutes of soccer, like full game, I'll play like half a. And he's like, no.
Okay. Yeah. It's good.
I'm
We're on
like,
the same
okay,
page.
that's what I need, the specificity. Like, what do you mean? So he's like,
Right.
look, don't get your heart rate above like 120-ish, and you don't want to lift anything heavy to elevate your blood pressure. I'm like, okay, I
Well,
can work with that. I can
is that
translate
it?
what that means.
I'm gonna jump on you real quick. Is that okay? Because like, did you have like a smartwatch to be like your heart rate is 120 right now?
Yeah, exactly. I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can cut based on again being a runner, soccer player, it's like you kind of know where your heart rate is based on your breathing, right?
Okay. Okay.
So I could, but again, that was like you said, it's like he gave me specific guidelines as to this is what you should do
Okay.
and what you should not do, right? So I learned that. But
So
yeah, and again,
sorry, is that something that like you would recommend as far as like people that are recovering from something like tech is helpful to kind of show as a guide for like, get at least get data as far as like how I know when I'm working out too hard. Is that like a generally good
well,
statement?
so to go back to your original question though, it's like,
Yeah.
okay, so if a physician or medical person is telling me to take quote unquote take it easy
Mm,
with X, Y, or Z. It's again, you need to probe more deeply into that question. So what does that
Okay.
mean specifically? Okay. You don't want to be lifting heavy with your back, or you don't want to be doing X, Y, or Z. Okay. The best people to talk to for neuromuscular skeletal issues are physios, physical therapists, because they'll
Okay.
give you like a specific, like, okay, what's the diagnosis for your whatever, your elbow, your knee, your shoulder, your back? Okay, well, here's things that you should do. Here's things that you shouldn't do.
Yeah, and I imagine like that's gets to the heart of why personal trainers are so good relative to your doctor, because it's like they really get into the details of your day to day and your actual like personal workout history, so they can provide that,
Right.
pointed, detailed guidance for you. Is
Yeah,
that
right.
correct?
Yeah,
Okay, okay.
absolutely. Yeah, we are not diagnostic, right? I always tell my clients, they ask me like, well, my knee hurts. What do you think it is? I'm like,
Anything under the
well,
sun. Yeah.
my opinion is worth zero, but here are some things to consider, you know? Um, so yeah, I always refer my clients like, go to your doctor, get a diagnosis of what exactly the problem is, and then we can figure out a path from there. Because again, we're not diagnosticians. I mean, I know plenty of trainers that have successfully diagnosed things, because again, you see people long enough, and you're in the industry long enough, you kind of learn a lot of that too.
Okay.
But again, I think from the technology perspective, like you're asking, it's like ChatGPT and all the AI can, Dr. Google is a good resource, starting resource.
Yeah,
It's not the
Dr.
be all
Google
and
just
end
says you have,
all.
yeah. I mean, my experience is Dr. Google says you have cancer for everything. It's like I have a sniffle. It's like, oh, it's cancer. It's like, no, god damn it, no, it's not. Like,
Right.
yes.
Right. So it's like you can't just assume, it's again, it's a starting point to say like,
Sure.
look, okay, it could be this, it could be that, it could be whatever. So, but again, you want to really, again, for me, it's always being have a scientific background. I'm always like, you need to get tested to see what exactly is wrong, right?
So gotcha. So I wanted to ask you a little bit more about like, so in your recovery, given that you're obviously a personal trainer already, and is it
Hmm.
one of those situations where you're like they say like doctors can't like take care of themselves because like they're too close to it and they need somebody else like objective to like evaluate things? Was that the case for you, or were you able to kind of like objectively kind of zoom out and look at your data, your like smartwatch, like 120 heart rate, and you're like, I'm in the sweet spot. I'm doing good, kind of thing. Like, how was that? Were you able to like
Yeah, I mean,
mentally separate, or
yeah, I think I did a fairly good job. Again, the challenge is just it's a psychological one than a physical one. Because
okay,
again, you kind of have that fear of like, all right, am I going too hard?
okay,
And there's be a couple times where it's like, yeah, you think you're okay, but you push it a little too hard, and then you feel it. You're like, oh shit. Pardon me. Sorry,
no, no, it's
can
fine.
I say that
We
on your
curse.
podcast?
No, absolutely, it's fine. Yes.
I'm like, oh shit, like I did too much. I need to step back a little bit.
Okay.
So generally, yeah, it's just like you could make a plan, but again, there was just the psychology. It was just I don't know how to describe it other than, you're climbing out of a hole, right?
Gotcha.
And it's just tough to get out of it when you don't know how deep the hole necessarily is.
Right. You have to kind of
And
feel around in the darkness for where the boundaries are.
exactly. Yeah. And
Okay.
am I going up, or am I just going sideways kind of thing?
Gotcha. Gotcha.
And for me, what really helped was like I said, I was like finally decided like I need an event to get ready for. I need something to help me motivate to plan better.
That's an
So
interesting idea. I like that. Okay.
right. So then I was like, okay, I found an offshoot of Spartan racing, which was just like a smaller. It's basically it's an event called DECA, which is 10 stations that you do, and it's a cardiovascular. Basically, it's a cardiovascular exercise. I don't want to bore you
I
with all the details of
No,
it,
no. I mean,
but
I chuckled a little because I heard Spartan, and I'm like, that's like the most intense thing I've heard of ever. But
well, that was
I don't
what
know.
funny thing. Well, actually, funny thing was, so I got surgery in 2022. In July of 2021, I did my first and so far only Spartan race up at Blue Mountain, and
I
I
remember.
literally thought I was going to die. I
Oh
really
gosh.
thought I was, because it's a climb up the hill, which is about 2,000 feet of elevation, and you go back down and then you go back up again. The second time I went up, I literally stopped and thought like I feel like I'm gonna die here. I am gonna die.
Wow.
So I sat down and I said, okay, I'm just gonna rest for a little bit and
Yeah.
continue on slowly. So
Okay.
that's when the first any kind of inkling was that I had any kind of condition because I was like, I thought I'd be able to do this. Anyway,
Right.
so going back to post-surgery,
Yeah.
so I was like, okay, so I wanted to started preparing for this event. And the beauty of it was that it's no matter where you do the event, if you do it in Philadelphia or Pittsburgh or New York or Atlantic City, everything's the same. It's all the same.
Okay.
Like you can do a 5K race where it's nice and flat along the Schuylkill River, or you can do one in the rolling hills of Manayunk or Conshohocken, and it's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's not apples and apples, right?
Gotcha.
I found this and I started preparing for that. And that just helped me focus on this is what I'm getting ready for. And that was so then I had surgery in June of 2022. And in February of 2023, I competed in that one. And I thought I was going to die,
Nice.
but I didn't.
Well, okay. Okay.
But I made it through. And
Well,
then I've been doing that ever since. So it's
I
just like measurable progress.
yeah, I imagine though, like once you accomplish that, it's like you ratcheted up like the okay, I know my baseline is at least as good as this now. So it's like now I have
Exactly.
like this
Right.
like wiggle room where it's like I understand, I got through these feelings and signals while I did that and I was fine. So anything like of lower intensity than that is something that I probably don't need to necessarily freak out about. Is that
Exactly.
sort
Yeah,
of
yeah.
okay, okay.
It gives you that standard of just like this is my baseline. Can I improve upon it? Keep it where it's at, that sort of thing. Absolutely. Yep. Sure.
Okay, awesome, awesome. So now, at that point in time, I imagine you were already like, I mean, you already mentioned like during your recovery, you were already seeing like clients again and stuff like that.
Yep.
When you did the, it's not this, it's not called the Spartan. It's called what is it called again?
It's
The
called
like
DECA.
DECA. Okay.
Yep.
When you did DECA, were you already like back in the full swing of things with clients again, like full
Oh yeah.
all the way?
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
And I don't I did you begin taking on like a niche of client as far as like heart related people, or was it still just kind of like
No, because
general personal
I was still for me, I mean, I was still figuring it out like after 12 months afterwards because it takes one of the things is that people underestimate is the time factor. And it just takes time to recover. Like I've seen again being a soccer coach, I've seen a lot of ACL tears and things like that.
yeah,
And it usually takes individual, and these are younger, more healthy individuals than I was. I mean, I was
okay,
56 at the time. So you're talking like, like a 25-year-old, 22-year-old
oh
tears their
wow,
ACL. It's like even them, it usually takes a year before you get through a complete recovery for a
okay.
lot of major surgeries like that.
So I had no idea. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna have you reveal like the demographics of your clients necessarily, but I mean, let me ask you this then. Like, as far as your clients, do you have like a good mix of like people that are athletes and people that need to get to a like just get to a solid baseline kind of thing, or is it like more moderate?
So I mean,
Okay,
so with personal training, I always tell people it's kind of a luxury service. It's like if you need an electrician, you probably don't want to do that on your own. Or if you need, if you need surgery, you're not going to do that on your own, right? It's like,
sure, yeah, yeah.
but
Always
everybody
try.
with as I said before, with technology and all the AIs that like you can go online and find a lot of information or a lot of programs that you can follow that will get you to where you want to be. Again, it's that's one more dimension less than doing either personal training via in person or Zoom
Okay,
or remote.
right.
But again, it's a luxury sort of item, I feel, as far as
When
saying. So most clients that we have at the gym and in all spaces, they're going to be, in their 30s, mid 30s to 40s at the youngest because they have the financial resources to spend on it.
gotcha.
I mean, I have a lot of clients that are over 65 and they're the most dedicated clients because they know it's a quality of life thing for them and they still want to do stuff. So they keep moving. So they're the most dedicated one.
I mean, I just turned 40, and the older I get, the more I'm like, okay, this is like necessary. Like,
Exactly.
breathing air is necessary to like, I need to move around, get going, so I can maintain this level of physicality that I currently.
Absolutely, yeah. So yeah, but yeah, so generally our client population skews towards the older generation. I do have a few younger athletic types mixed in there, but they're the
So
exception as opposed to the rule.
that's interesting. So I guess the age kind of informs my next question a little bit, which is like when a new client comes to you, right? Do they like
Mhm.
dump their smartwatch data on you and like say, "Hey, Jeremy, here's all my data, figure it out," or are they more like like a normal approach where it's like, "Hey, let's get to
Well,
know each other. Like I'll talk to you a little about myself."
yeah, so
Like
I follow a pattern with all my new clients, and that is, first we do generally speaking, we'll do a medical history
okay,
because it's important for them to understand not just again, I always look at a long-term perspective. Like it's not just like, okay, the next 6 months. I mean, unless they have like, okay, I'm getting married in 6 months, I need to look fabulous. Okay.
okay, all right,
Otherwise, most people are just like, no, I want to be healthier. I want to be stronger. I want to lose some weight, things like that. Okay, well, you need to look at the whole spectrum of what's your family history look like, because do you have any family history of any medical issues that you need to stay on top of? Because,
mm,
like if every woman in your family had breast cancer or heart issues, like in my family, it's
mhm.
like, okay, you need to be aware of that to make sure that you, again, preventatively try to take
Yeah,
care of things. Again,
yeah.
smaller problems are easier to solve than bigger ones, right? The second thing is then what are their goals? Like, what do they want to do? Like some people, it's
I
like,
heard
oh,
you're yeah, I heard you're a goal oriented guy. Something.
something like that.
All
So,
right.
like our friend Matt, like I'm working with him on getting to do his first half marathon. He's never done a half marathon.
Oh wow.
So then we plan back from, okay, when's the marathon? It's in the end of March. And
Okay.
then we just,
Pretty close.
yeah, it's a little tight for that, but we'll see how it goes. He's
All
got to
right.
work, a lot of work to do. But
Okay.
anyway, so it's like, so you have a specific goal, then you plan backwards from that, right? Then once we establish what their goals are and what their history is, then we can go forward and say, okay, find things that they like to do because that is helpful, right? Oh, I love to run with my dog, or I love to ride a bike. Okay, great. So then that
Nice.
can be kind of their focal point of what they're doing. Or I'm a golfer. Okay, great. So you okay. So then we focus the future sessions based on whatever their goals are. And they can have
Okay.
multiple goals too. It's like, look, I want to be a better golfer, and I also want to lose like 20 pounds. Okay, great.
One thing can help the other, I'm pretty sure, right? Like
Exactly, right.
yeah,
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 exactly.
yeah. Okay.
So that's the methodology. And once they establish that, then we can kind of look at specific data as far as,
Okay.
what they're
Well,
trying to use.
so I wanna talk a little bit more about the goal setting part of it, right? Is there ever a
Absolutely.
situation where yeah, I mean like is there ever a situation where somebody comes to you with a goal and you're like, listen, that's just not gonna be a thing. Like,
Yeah, you can't tell
okay.
them that though.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah,
So so
how do you handle that?
here's the
Yeah.
classic example that I always tell people. It's like, okay, as somebody comes in, they're maybe 40, 45 years old,
Okay.
maybe 50. They're like, "Oh, I want to lose 20 pounds." All right, that's fine. Yep, my doctor said I'm a little overweight, need to make sure I watch for hypertension, pre-diabetic. That's okay. You lose 40 pounds. Okay, great. What's your time frame? I need to lose it in the next like 6 weeks, 8 weeks.
Okay.
Like, okay, let me ask you this question. How long did it take you to put that weight on? Oh, I've been adding weight for like, I've been gaining weight for like the last, I got married, had kids, high stress job. It's been like the last 10 or 15 years. Okay. So you're gained it over 10 or 15 years, but you want to lose it in 6, 8 weeks.
Yeah, and it's easier to eat than work out, right? So yeah.
Right. So it's just kind of like, okay, let's readjust not necessarily readjust what your goals are, because I don't want to do that ever, but readjust what your timeline,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
And again, introduce other things to them as well, too. So again, a classic example, again, weight loss. Okay, like you said, the most important thing with weight loss is diet.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's the number one thing that you don't need a trainer for that. Okay.
Yeah, I was
All you
avoiding that
need
because I don't want to hear that I have to eat differently, thinking for myself. But I know that's the case. But yeah, no, go ahead. Tell me.
So no, so and the most important thing again with that is to track it, to either write it
Okay.
down or record it on your phone, or with all the technology that's available,
Okay.
I think it's a lot easier to do that, right? So
Mhm.
that's number one. It's just if you can't measure it, you can't necessarily say that if you've achieved your goal or not. right?
So I know that you use tech to track like workouts and stuff like that. Do you use tech
Mhm.
with your clients to track like diet stuff as well, or is that like separate what you track?
I encourage them to do that. I
But
don't
you
monitor that because that's not my field of expertise. But like if
gotcha.
you go on to like there's like Noom, there's like My
Yeah, yeah.
Fitness Pal, Fitness Tracker. There's so many different apps that you can just track all your food with it. And it's a fairly easy thing to do. But again, it's commitment. You need to commit to that
Sure.
goal, which is again, that's why you want goals that are specific and measurable and achievable for for each individual's particular case, right?
Got it. So let me ask you this: is a goal like not being injured in the next week or like month, is that a good goal or is that a bad? Like,
Yes, yeah, the answer is yes and no.
okay,
Okay.
all right,
You can avoid injury if we just sit at home and do nothing.
okay, all right,
Okay. So it's
okay,
like, okay, I want to avoid being injured, but I'm getting ready for a marathon. So what's the best way to do that?
okay.
Okay. So yeah, it's always that it's yeah.
And so when you're
So the answer to that question is yes, that's a legitimate goal, but it depends on what your circumstances
so
are.
yeah, so it sounds like though, yeah, you would need to get a little bit more specific for the individual person about those
Right.
exact.
Yeah, like again, I'll give you the Philadelphia Eagles. It's like, okay, the last game of the season, regular season, we're going to rest all our starters because we don't want to get them hurt. We don't want them to get hurt for the playoff,
Right. Okay.
right? Okay, that's a legit. That didn't work out for them, but whatever.
Okay. Right.
That's
Okay.
a
I
different
got you.
story. Let's not talk about the Eagles.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I gotta read up on my sports or watch. I'm not a sports guy. I should be, but that's something I'll get into a little bit
That's okay.
more. But yeah, no, I mean, it sounds like so having like specific measurable goals is definitely, yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. Now, on the tail
So
end of
so
that, oh, go ahead.
yeah, go ahead.
No, no, I
Go
was gonna
ahead.
say on the tail end of that, if someone does not meet their goal, what does that look like? Do you like, I guess it depends on the person, but
Well,
do you like,
so
yeah,
yeah. So if somebody doesn't meet their goals, we go back and we look at, okay, first of all, was it a legitimate goal, right? Again, I want to lose 40 pounds in 6 weeks. Okay, that goal's not realistic. So, but what were the reasons why you didn't achieve your goal? And undoubtedly the clients will be like, well,
your fault. It's all your
again,
fault. No, I'm kidding.
to use the weight loss guidance, it's like, okay, you were supposed to do 30 minutes of cardio 3 days a week. Did you do that? Well, no,
Mm.
not completely. All right, you're supposed to do three strength training sessions a week, one with me and two on your own. Did you do that? Yeah,
Okay.
no. You were supposed to track your what you're eating, breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, etc. Did you do that? Well, I did. Like I always got breakfast, but then once I got to the office and they had donuts and they had this and that, the candy, like okay, so generally there's reasons why those goals were not achieved.
And I imagine while you're working with them during whatever period of time, you've kind of had those checkpoints, and they might have
Right.
fudged a little bit of the truth about what they're doing and not doing. Kind of, I don't know.
Right.
That
But
that's
the
yeah.
important thing with goal setting though, which I'll add at this point, which I think is a good point to add, is that so there's achievement goals, but then there's also performance or behavior goals, right?
Okay.
So
Okay.
one of the things that I like to make sure that I do with my clients is that you're not likely to achieve all your goals. However, can we improve, right?
Okay.
So one of the goals would just be like, okay, I want, and this is for like real brand new beginners, right?
Okay.
It's like, okay, Paul, I want you to just come to the gym 3 times a week.
Right.
I don't care if you do anything. I don't care if you just come in, take a shower, watch TV while you're walking on a treadmill for 10 minutes and go home.
Because that's a
Come to the
behavioral
gym.
thing.
Yeah, come to the gym. Because again, you're trying to change their behaviors.
Gotcha.
Right. So, okay, once you get here, and then after 2 or 3 weeks, you come to the gym for 3 times a week. Okay. Well, guess what? Oh, I walked on the treadmill for half an hour. I was listening to the Paul DiMaggio's podcast for half an hour. It was great.
Perfect. I love it. Yes.
Right. And then I tried a yoga class or I tried a spin class or I tried okay. So again, it's shifting the needle ever so slightly because again,
Okay.
we're not talking for most people, right? For most people, we're not talking like a short-term timeline. We're looking for a
Yeah.
longer term horizon.
And
So it's
and
shifting those behaviors so that they tend to do those kinds of things.
I imagine like on the behavioral front too, right? Like it becomes a matter of like I kind of even look at it this way where it's you are more prone to better behavior the less willpower it takes to do the behavior, if that makes sense. So it's like, I guess once you develop a habit, right? Habit's a good example of a concept where it's like it takes like zero willpower to do a habit because
Hmm.
it's a habit by definition. You're not using energy or mental power to like make yourself do it. It just is a thing. So I guess
Yeah.
it's like
I,
about go ahead, go ahead. I don't know if that's a good
I
way of
I'm
looking
just
at
gonna
it, but
say yes. I'm gonna say it depends. It's yes and no.
okay.
Because if you give them an easy goal, it's like, okay, Paul, I want you to come in and walk on a treadmill for 10 minutes for the next, for the next month, 3 times a week.
Mhm.
All right. You go and do it once, you're like, well, what'd they do? And you come
Okay,
back the next day, you're like, all right, well, it's like he wants me to do like why am I doing this?
they need to feel accomplished, I guess, too, is
It
the thing.
doesn't feel like there's a difference.
Okay,
Whereas, okay, we're gonna do a hit workout for 20 minutes. You come in, you work out, you're like dying to get through it, but you're like, wow, I feel like I actually accomplished and did something, right? So it depends upon the person and the personality of that person as to which way to go with them on that,
gotcha.
right? Does that
This
make
this might
sense?
it does, and this might be like a little bit tangential, but it just kind of popped in my head, right? Which is, that I mean, of course, that feeling you get after you work out, where you're like, it's like your muscles are sore, but it's like a good sore. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I've tried creatine in the past, and like when I take it, I don't
Hmm.
get that like good sore anymore. It's like, well, wait, is that a good thing? Because like I'm recovering faster? Did I not work out hard enough? What the
Hmm.
hell is happening? Like, so I don't know if like on the one hand, I want that sore feeling because it's more satisfying, but on the other hand,
Right.
like maybe like are my muscles recovering faster, and that's why I don't feel that soreness? I don't. Is
Yeah.
that a thing? Like I
I
don't know. Is
I don't
creatine
know
good?
the
I
answer. I
guess.
don't know.
Uh, okay. Oh, are you still? I don't know if we have audio still. Check your mic real quick. Oh, give me 1 second. It might be on a second. You still with me?
I'm still here. Yep.
Okay, it was on
I'm
my end. Sorry. Yep. Go ahead.
No worries, no problem. Uh,
So I guess
uh,
my question was like, is creatine good, or it kind of depends? Or
I don't give advice on supplements and
okay,
dietary
okay,
stuff. I mean,
all right, that's fine.
I think you have to look at it on an individual basis. I'll tell you, I take 5 grams of creatine every day.
Okay.
So
All right, awesome.
yeah,
And I can imagine it's like similar to what I felt, but I'm not going to press you on that because I know you don't want to get into supplement stuff. But I guess
yeah,
on the topic of when I think supplements, I think of YouTube videos like health gurus and like some personal trainers out there
right.
push stuff that is like bunk kind of. So I guess to zoom out a little bit, like is there like a personal trainer like myth out there that you want like wish would just kind of go away altogether or
Wow, there's a lot of them.
okay, all right.
I mean, I think so. I kind of break it down on genders, right? So
Okay,
for women, it's like, all right, the myth is if I lift heavy weights, I'm going to get big and bulky, and I don't want to be like a muscular, like Amazonian looking woman.
okay.
For men, it's like, okay, well, you want me to do cardio. All right, well, I don't like to run on the treadmill or ride a bike or hit the rower.
Okay.
It's like, yeah, you don't have to do cardio that way. You can play
Yeah,
basketball, you can do, whatever. Anyway,
it's like
so
yeah,
those
women
are
are
kind of some myths. Yeah.
okay, like women are prone to aerobics and like men are prone to like lifting weights kind of thing,
Yeah, women are kind of
right?
prone towards aerobic classes, yoga classes, spin classes, that sort of thing. And they don't like to hit the weights as much. Part of it is a psychological thing. Like a lot of women feel intimidated at the
Mm,
gym, whereas men view cardio as like, I don't want to do cardio. It's going to make me like, I don't know, it's going to make me super skinny and I don't want to lose muscle mass and all that sort of thing.
I see.
And it's both of those are not the case, right? So
Gotcha. There
for women to get bulky, you have to lift heavy for a long period of time and take a lot of nutritional considerations into effect to become bulky. So
okay. Yeah, I imagine it has to be like a focused goal to actually get going.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
And for men, like I said, if you're supposed to do some cardio, you don't have to get on the treadmill. You can do cardio with weights. You can do cardio with any sport. Well, and not any sport, but you can do cardio with a sport that you play. Like I said, like basketball or ice hockey or whatever,
Sure.
tennis. So
Yeah.
things like that, where you can actually, it's much more fun. So.
I was just gonna say they're fun, so it's like you're not working out, you're just having
Right, exactly.
yeah,
Which
yeah.
is again, that's something that we try to impart to our clients as well too. Is like do something that you find things that you enjoy doing because you're more likely to do that if you like it, right?
So okay. So something else that just kind of popped in my head while you were saying that as well, right? As far as building muscle and or not building muscle and that kind of thing. So let's say a hypothetical client of yours
Hmm.
with the initials P as in Paul and D as in DiMaggio, right? Let's say let's say a hypothetical client like has a goal of losing weight, right? Now,
Yep.
in the course of working with you, he might gain muscle mass, in which case he's not actually losing weight. Is there a good way of like measuring like I guess is that what it's called? The is it the BMI that does like the fat to muscle ratio? Is that maybe a better
Yeah.
goal than like losing weight in general? Like I don't know how's that.
The short answer to your question is no, it's not.
Oh, okay.
The important thing to remember is that each metrics are good, generally speaking. Metrics are good. However, you don't necessarily want to just look at one specific metric per se. Case in point. So I've had a lot of women that I train that want to lose weight. All right. We work together 4 weeks, 8 weeks, 3 months, 6 months. And they're like, Jeremy, I haven't lost any weight. I'm still at 135, 130, 125, whatever. Okay, what size dress were you wearing when you started? Oh, I was a size 8. And now you're a size, I'm a size 4. Is that better? And they're like, yeah, okay. How's your energy level? How's your sleep? How's your ability to just do things? Oh,
Mm,
I'm been sleeping much better since I've been exercising more. I eat whatever I want now because I'm just, working out so much. Okay. And when I get on the train to go, I ride step to work. I don't need to use the handle to go up the stairs anymore. I can just run right up the steps. Oh,
that's a
okay.
noticeable
So
improvement.
again, it's just like there's a metric of weight, but you have to take that into consideration in the whole picture, right?
Gotcha. Okay.
It's like you went from a size 8 to a size 4 because you added lean muscle mass and you lost fat tissue, but a pound of fat weighs the same as a pound of muscle,
Right.
right?
Well,
So
isn't that like that riddle? It's like what's
it's
heavier?
a
Like
it's a bot so it's a body recomposition. Okay.
gotcha.
Now, when you look at BMI, something like BMI, it's just a ratio of your height to your weight. Okay. So we
Okay.
have several people in the gym who are, if you looked at them, you're like, wow, that guy's really ripped or that girl's in great shape. But when you do their BMI, they're obese
Hmm.
because they're very strong, they're very muscular, but their height to weight ratio doesn't match up because, again, muscle is more dense than fat. So it's like you can be, again, using a running back from the Eagles, he might be 5'10" and 200 pounds. Well, I'm 5'10" and I'm 165-ish, right? So my BMI is perfect, but his is tells you that he's obese
Gotcha.
because
Okay.
it's just a ratio of those two numbers. So again, those metrics are not like the other one that we like to do is like percentage of body fat. So
Okay.
there's impedance devices that you can use to measure that. So if you kind of combine what I like my clients to do is if you have a weight loss goal, get on a scale, measure yourself. Yes. Let's get your percentage of body fat. Use the old Taylor's tape measure, take measurements of your chest, your thighs, your belly, your butt, etc. Measure all those things to get a more complete picture,
Gotcha.
right? Because
And
again, the weight number might stay static, but then your percentage body fat's like, oh, that went down. Your waist went down. All that stuff went in the direction that you wanted to go, but that one metric kind of stayed flat.
so are all these things, all these numbers and stuff like that, you use tech to track all that for your clients? Like, do you use certain apps to like,
Um,
do they enter
yeah,
it in, or do they like
yeah,
tell
you
you?
can. Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, generally it's just on I mean, that piece when you're looking at the actual metrics themselves, you can plug it into an app per se, or you can just track it manually for lack of a better thing. Because you're not necessarily going to necessarily measure those every day.
Right. Right. It's like every
You're
so
going to
often.
measure that more on like a monthly basis, let's say. Like, okay, let's see what you weigh. Okay. Because you
Yeah.
can weigh yourself in the morning and you're 175 pounds, and you weigh yourself in the evening after you just had your big dinner and a couple of beers. It's like, oh, I'm now 177. Oh, crap, I gained 2 pounds today. It's like, yeah, but after you go to the bathroom in the morning, see what you weigh again. So.
Exactly. I always get because I weigh myself relatives get yelled at because it's like, why do I do it at nighttime, right?
As long as you're doing the consistent time, that's all that
Sure,
matters.
sure, sure. It's all about relative, right? So,
Yeah.
okay, cool. So, any other like aspects of technology that you kind of use as far as in your practice of like,
I think it's great because, like, for me, like I use an app. It's called Train Heroic. It's a non-proprietary app. It's free.
okay,
So I can track things, and it's interesting for me to see over time. Like, okay, my bench press was this in February of 2025, and now in February 2026, it's this. or my squat or whatever, or my running times were this, and this. So I can see for myself what the macro kind of trends are as
Gotcha.
far as that goes. So that to me is great because anybody that tracks stuff, old school, we used to do it in a notebook.
Mhm.
And you have to literally like flip through your notebook, like what was I benching last year? Was like on the app on a smartphone, it's like it's just like it's right there for you and you can see it.
Yeah, I
Um,
imagine the easier it is to reference, the easier it is to like keep yourself. It's like, ah, I don't want to like find that one page in my notebook that I can't. You know what I mean? At least that's
Right,
that's how I
right.
think.
Yeah, right, right. And for me, it's like I notice like I do more cardio. Like again, since we have a cyclical weather around here, it's like in the winter I spend less time doing cardio and more time doing weights. So it's like my strength goes up in the winter, right?
Oh,
And then
pause real quick because I think is your video moving on your end or is it?
oh
It's
yeah, sorry, it just kind of froze for a second there.
it's all good. Yeah, no, back up like 2 seconds and go ahead. Sorry. Yeah,
Yeah, no, no worries. So like I look at like again in the wintertime, it's very cyclical. It's like my cardiovascular goes down and my strength training goes up. So it's like I usually get stronger from December through March or April. And
okay,
then once it gets a little warmer and more time outside, it goes the opposite way.
gotcha,
Cardiovascular goes up, strength goes down. So one of the things that I'm trying to shoot for is like, can I kind of maintain both of those at the same time?
gotcha. It's a
So
nice little challenge for yourself. I like
yeah, yeah,
that.
yeah.
Okay,
So I'll let you know how that works out.
okay. Cool. Well, so I think I have like one big final question for you.
Okay.
And we'll probably wrap up. But the here's my big question for you. If someone remembers only one thing from this episode, what would that
Consistency.
okay?
That's it. Be
I like it.
consistent. If you want to achieve any goal, whether it's fitness or otherwise, consistent behavior is what's going to get you there,
Gotcha.
right?
And
Like if you have like, we like when I presented to our group the other day, it's like if you have a business goal, all right, of I want to make $1 million in sales this year. Okay, how are you going to do that? You got to consistently show up for that with whatever plan it is that you have in place in order to be successful. All right, if I want to save, I want to save and I want to save and get $1 million. How do I do that? Well, I'm not going to go to the 7-Eleven, get some scratch offs and like, oh, 100,000 bucks I want. No, like consistently plan, save money, do certain behaviors that are going to get you towards that goal. Same is true at the
gotcha.
gym, right? It's like, okay, I want to bench press 225 pounds. Well, it's not like one day you're just going to pick up 225 pounds. Like, no, it's like you got to work your way up and you got to do it consistently. So
Gotcha.
consistency is the key. And that's true for any goal that you're trying to achieve across multiple
I like it.
multiple spectrums. So
And that's where I'm hoping you come in for me. This might be an addendum to the podcast or might be part of it too. But yeah, like helping me stay consistent is definitely a thing that I want.
right. Well, that kind of circles back with the goals, if I may,
Okay. Sure.
because in order to have a consistent behavior, whatever it is, you have to recommit yourself to that behavior, right?
Okay.
Again, it's like, well, again, I'll use the example if I want to save $1 million, right? Well, you know what? We really want to take this trip to Hawaii. Or, I'm going out with my friends every Friday night. We're going out to dinner and we're spending a lot of money okay.
Mhm.
So in order to achieve the goal, you might have to make a sacrifice somewhere else. Like, well, you know what? We can't go to Hawaii. We can go to California instead. Or we're not going to take a trip at all. So I'm just going to save that money. So it's recommitting to that behavior, right?
Gotcha. Every
And
so
then the
often. Yep.
most important thing is, and not the most important thing, but this is where the start is so important. It's like you have to set a goal that you can be consistent with your behaviors and recommit to achieve that.
Okay.
Because if you set a goal that's just like, all right, well, I want to save $1 million, but I'm not going to change any of my behaviors to get there, then yeah, you're going to have a tough time getting there unless you hit a good scratch off or you win the Powerball or whatever.
Gotcha. We should tell
So,
Scott
yeah.
that so he stops giving everybody lottery tickets. No.
That's different.
Yeah, it's different. It's different now. But okay, so I'm gonna hit you with a couple of like rapid fire, like fun questions real quick.
Absolutely.
All right. So
You want short
first,
answers, I take it.
well, I mean, whatever. I mean, do whatever you want. It's all good. It's not
Okay.
like
Okay.
I'm like I have something to do in like immediate. But
Yeah. Yeah.
so, where's your favorite outdoor place to if you're comfortable like
Oh,
divulging that?
well, two
Yeah.
places. So
Okay.
one is the beach.
Okay.
I love working out at the beach. And I love running on the beach because running is like to me, the most basic exercise that you can do. And it doesn't take, all you need is a pair of shoes. and
Okay.
clothes, some appropriate clothes. No, I mean, like in the winter, it's you need to bundle up in gloves and hats,
Sure.
and then sometimes it's put on a pair of shorts and shoes and socks, and off you go. That's my favorite. That's one of my favorite places. Second place is like in various doing trail runs in the park. Like I'm close to Wissahickon Park, so I run down there on the
Oh,
trails. Not now because they're icy, but in the summertime, it's just like you run through the trails, and to me, it's very meditative and therapeutic because you kind of just forget about, especially with trail running. Like if you run around a track, it's like you're just doing circles, right? But if you run
yeah.
a trail, it's like you have to concentrate on your each step that you take.
Yeah, there's like
And when
random roots coming out of the ground, like trying to trip
Right.
you, right? Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. So it's like your mind has to be focused on what you're doing. And when you focus on something specific, it eliminates all the noise that we hear in the background on a day-to-day basis. Like, oh, I gotta do the laundry, I gotta get groceries, I gotta get the car inspected, I gotta, all that goes away.
Okay.
So it
Well,
helps to me, it helps bring a certain clarity of mind that I solve a lot of problems when I'm out running on longer
so
distances.
actually, I'm glad you brought that up. So, like, what's the easiest way? Like, people call that like the zones, right? Like, what's
Right.
what's the easiest way to get in the zone? Like, not just from like well, I guess your answer would be to go for a run, but I mean, like, when you're starting the run, how do you get into the zone where? Because I remember when I used to run a lot, there's a point in time where you like forget that you're running, and then it's like then the miles just kind of go by a little bit. Like, what's the
Right.
easiest way to get into the zone?
Again, it comes back to the activity that you're doing. You got to, first of all, you got to find something that you like doing.
Okay.
And like you said, like you asked your favorite place, like it helps to be in a place that you enjoy the surroundings. Like for some people, it's like, it's I'm going to go to a yoga class, right? And it's like you like the music, the lighting, the temperature of the room, the voice of the instructor, all that kind of stuff. So it's finding that thing, whatever it is, that just really works for the individual, right? It could be like,
Gotcha.
I want to ride my bike on the Valley Forge Trail, and I'm just putting my head down and just put on some music, and I just go, and it's just,
Do you,
whatever
do
that
you
whatever that could be.
do you ride a bike or you mostly just run?
Yeah, I'm mostly a runner, but I
Okay,
occasionally ride a bike, not too
that's cool.
much.
I'll hold it
Yeah.
against you. It's fine. No, I'm kidding. Uh, okay, other random questions. How much do you bench? Right? Do you bench at all?
So I think the last one I did was like 205
Okay,
was the
it's just
max. Yeah.
respectable. I may or may not include that. We'll see. I don't know because put me to shame, embarrass me a little bit. It's fine.
Well, I'm
No.
gonna look that I'm gonna look that up actually. Go ahead. Good, next
Okay.
question.
No.
Because
So
again,
something
I have
else.
it on my app.
Nice. That comes in handy. Yeah.
Yep.
So other question that like popped into my head, right? Which is, well, for me at least, I as far as like hitting my goals and stuff like that, I'm
Hmm.
always better when I have somebody to compete against. Okay. Now I'm sure as a personal trainer, you're not competing with your clients, but
Right.
maybe do you ever have like clients compete against each other as like a thing? I don't know. That's just like a
Uh,
random thought that popped into my head just
so all
because
right, so
competition's fun.
I was wrong. My bench was 195, not 205. 195.
Well, still it's close.
So yeah, so as far as competition goes, again, that depends upon if people are motivated by competition or not.
Okay.
So I have some married couples that I train together,
Okay.
and that can be a lot of fun if you can just tweak that competitiveness within them.
Okay. All right.
Now, some are just more conciliatory towards each other. Like, okay, well, I know my husband is stronger than me, so I'm like I can't do, 10 push-ups like he can do 10 push,
Sure.
but yeah, there is a certain element of that with certain clients that work together that, yeah, that definitely works out. So yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Gotcha. So it might not be like an overt, like we're gonna compete today. It's just kind of like you nudge them along and they
Oh
kind of
yeah, no, I never tell them we're going to
banter.
compete. I just kind of subtly introduce it, and then just don't even realize it before they. Like a great one is like, okay, we're going to plank. Husband and
Okay.
wife, you're going to plank together. Who can last longer?
I like it. I like
Invariably,
it.
that's the woman that lasts longer in that one.
Yeah, no, I remember from my rock climbing days, it's like sometimes it's like if you just have, the smaller people, the people that are lighter can always
Oh
do
yeah.
those like endurance exercises for longer.
Oh yeah. My 10-year-old granddaughter does gymnastics and rock climbing. She can just like she's like freaking Spider-Man. It's
I
crazy.
know, seriously. I
And
remember I
she's
did that
like,
back when
I'm
I
just
was
like,
yeah, it's that's
yeah,
when your height becomes a problem, right? It's like I have more to
right.
pull. But
Yep.
great, great. Well, um
What else you got?
I'm trying to think of other. I don't. That was all my like random like rapid fire ones. But yeah. I mean, I think we covered some good stuff. It was a awesome conversation.
Absolutely.
I want to thank you definitely for coming on and we can keep talking afterwards too. But yeah, we covered a lot of interesting stuff, and I want to just kind of thank the audience for listening. And I want to remind everybody that you can find Jeremy Brodovsky at practicalcoachingsolutions.com, also on Facebook and Instagram. He's an awesome guy. I hope that came across. It definitely came across to me, during our conversation. But yeah, thank you so much, Jeremy. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Hope it was helpful.
All right.